Hey everybody, it's Sherry. Welcome back to Alleged Actually. I wanted to make sure, let's see, everybody can hear me okay? Ciao. We got a lot to talk about, guys. I'm going to give it just a few more seconds to have a few more people come on. So indulge me just a second and check out this really cool intro. All right, guys, so we are back and we're going to get started. We're going to come on last week to talk about the reunion in Married at First Sight Denver. But just like I told you guys on my video on Monday, honey, life be lifing sometimes. So, we had some things going on. And we could not hop on last Thursday, but we are here tonight, or actually I am. Bria's still, her life is still lifing. She's moving, and anybody that's ever moved knows that that's a process within itself. So we're going to excuse her tonight, and I am going to put to bed this foolishness called Married at First Sight Denver. Okay, guys. I am not going to do a play-by-play with the reunion. My fellow content creators have done an amazing job of exposing the foolishness that was the reunion. But what I will tell you is, Freya had it pegged from the beginning. Y'all, she was right. We were duped. We were bamboozled. They were lying the whole time. Kevin Frazier was the one that hosted the reunion, y'all. The ladies were still all in pink, honey, because that's what they do for their solidarity of lies. Child, they came out. The guys were on the women, the four women, Lauren, Becca, Emily, and Claire were on one side, and the guys and Chloe were on the other. And Chloe had on purple, might I add. How you like that? So, honey, guys, they start off by letting us know that the whole thing was a lie. And that the mastermind behind the lie was none other than Cameron. Yeah. See, it appears that early in, they figured that they were going to come up with a plan to make it to the end. Because from what I understand, the participants do not get a check if they don't make it, or they don't get a full check if they don't make it till decision day. So Mr. Cameron, now y'all, this is what they said, the lady said. Mr. Cameron made the decision that it would be better that they all team up and they come up with these stories to keep the couples together. Yet Mr. Cameron, as you recall, decided to call it quits with Claire. Not as early as Lauren and Orion, however, before they got to decision day. So the mastermind jumped ship. And they want us to believe that throughout this process, none of the ladies felt empowered, to be honest. When you had Dr. Pia, Pastor Cal, Dr. Pepper coming and checking in, nobody felt empowered to tell the truth on the women's side. Y'all, let me just say this, because my real recap is on the Where Are They Now episode that aired last night, which was also some more playing in our face. But let me just say something. This season has been a absolute joke. There's a few things. Lifetime, first of all, the process is going to have to get tighter, because basically what you had in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, were a full cast of people that wanted their 15 minutes. It was stated Austin was interested in growing his social media following. All of them, for that matter. It was hard to hear, but simply made sense. Now, what I will not subscribe to is that those women could not at any time have ended their relationships. And I don't know, y'all, the main thing the takeaway was how unhinged Emily was. Honey, that woman, I mean, we all talked about throughout the season how Brennan was cold and how he seemed, to be controlling, shutting her down when they were talking with the experts. Okay. And all that he actually did end up admitting that, they said that the guys were so hung up on, Lord knows that word, y'all, the optics, okay? Lord knows if I had literally $1 for every time that Becca said the word optics, then my little cash out wouldn't be rolling down there on the banner. By the way, guys, if you want to, that's fine. Just thought I'd throw it up there. It won't hurt, right? But we thank you. You can actually really help us by hitting that like button and subscribing to our channel. That would be an absolutely wonderful way to support us. And we would like to right now, I'm not getting off track, but I want to say thank you to all our actualizers. We are now at a little over 3,000 subscribers. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please keep sharing our content. And those of you that are new here, we do reality TV content, we do recaps, and then we also do pop culture. So if that's your jam, you found your home. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and the notification bell so that you will know when we go live and that you will know when we drop our content. So let's get that out the way. But honey, back to the reunion. So Emily would like us to believe that, or that all of the ladies in solidarity, that the men were the ones pulling the strings. Claire had stated that Cameron was the puppet master, but she had that Freudian slip where she said, I was the puppet master. And she was like, no, you were, and we were the puppets. And Cameron caught that. He said, yeah, that was a nice Freudian slip. I'm sure that wasn't lost on Claire since she is studying to be a psychologist. So therapist, clinical therapist. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to get too much more in the actual reunion other than it was a lot of the ladies acting like the men were the ones that were wrong. The hostility was high. The bitterness was high. The story that Claire and Emily had on the infamous double date for Brennan and Cameron. Y'all, the crying and the hysterics was ridiculous. They wanted to villainize Brennan and Cameron for the idea of, hey, when this is over, we'll go on a double date with these girls at Union Station there in Denver. Complete and utter ridiculousness, okay? When in fact, Emily did actually hook up with the Australian guy. A true makeout session, you guys, yeah. But that was supposed to be no big deal. Yet she was in shambles over the idea that Brennan would go on a double date with Cameron. The whole thing was just a major insult on our intelligence. What I think the takeaway for the reunion is this. Kevin took each couple and sat them down to try to talk about their story. But it was kind of hard to do when they started off the reunion with the fact that they lied. That what we saw was not authentic, that they had this mastermind plan to stick it out, knowing full well it wasn't going to work. Now, I do believe Becca, sincerely, she did want her marriage to work with Austin. And I still believe that if I'm going to feel for any of the women on the set, it would be Becca, because Austin did give her semi-false hope by telling her that the intimacy would come, that eventually he would get there. He just needed time, And so from her perspective, and they actually said yes in the beginning until that very night when Austin ended up going out with the producer and then lying to her face about it. So there was that. But honey, the two ridiculous ones were Claire and Emily. First of all, let's go to Claire and Cameron. They ended their marriage. They made that decision long before decision day. And then, of course, we know that Cameron had his condition, which, y'all, he stated that his condition actually was a stress-induced, real-life heartbreak. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. And y'all, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I will say this. Really? Heartbreak of what? Wasn't it you, sir, that said you decided since she clearly wasn't into you, you were going your way? Okay. That's what I saw. Is that what you guys saw there? Because that's what I saw. Okay. Child, anyway, I'm about to wrap this on up. So basically, what we saw was a lot of Emily becoming completely unhinged, as if Brennan had killed off her firstborn. The fact of the matter, we all figured out what she still is struggling with, that Brennan did not want her. Child, she even told the man when he said that he wasn't attracted to her, that yes, he was too. Baby girl, get some help. Which we'll get to, honey, on the where are they now. Clearly, she is in therapy, and the baby girl needs it. Now, we know that Emily had not ever been in a relationship before, and we really need to talk about, number one, and I've done my research. Some of the things, because, honey, they are already filming in Chicago. And I don't know that they've made these changes yet, but some of the things, fans are calling for some changes to be made because this cannot happen, And I think a lot of it is they need to break up that whole group dynamic. We're not watching a cast become best friends. We want to see if the experiment will work, and that in fact, if two like-minded people come together with the idea of wanting to be married, that it can in fact work. We've seen it happen on seasons past. This was the most foolish thing I've ever seen, and it went on literally far too long. They even had to have, as we know, Michael with his words, child. His innocuous words. That man, really? What he wanted, honey, was to switch seats with Pastor Cal because he just knew, honey, he's expert. He has got it all figured out, saying all them words and saying literally nothing. He did squeak out an apology to Chloe about not really giving it a chance per se. It just, and child, like I said, we're going to get to the where are they now, because that's what I really want to talk about. The reunion was a lot of the blame game, a lot of tears from Emily, a lot of her brattiness. And honey, she bucked up at Kevin Frazier. He's a good one because it could not have been me. And I told y'all on my last live, the way she bucked up at Keisha on that after show. Miss Man, you got some consummate professionals, because if Alleged actually was doing that hosting gig, I would have had to remove you from the set, sweet girl. That's what we're not going to do. She really is extremely immature. She really, and I'm sure she's gotten some backlash on social media. I am certain of that. She really, child, enough on the reunion. Let me get to the episode last night, the Where Are They Now? So the episode opens with Claire coming to see Lauren at her place, and they are having teeny time. So Claire brings over the good stuff, the liquor, and Lauren proceeds to shake it up and make them some, I guess they're espresso martinis. They did look, or chocolate martinis. They look good. And they decide to talk, and she tells Claire, lets Lauren know that she is now dating someone. She has a boyfriend, and she's pretty happy about it. It's now official. On the reunion, she did make mention that she was dating someone. So, oh, y'all, and Cameron, with all his shenanigans, asked if they could see each other still. Child. She was like, no, sir, I'll have someone. So, in fact, she does. She has her boyfriend now. Turns out it's actually in Seattle. Maybe talks of him relocating to Denver, child. Who knows? And quite frankly, who cares? So Lauren has met him. She approves. Wonderful. And then Claire asked Lauren, has she spoken to O'Liar? I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I like that. Orion, a.k.a. O'Liar. Good one, Claire. And she says, hearing the fact when she went back and saw the reunion, that he put that rhetoric out there, that she was such an angry person, that she literally had nothing further to say to him. And then Claire proceeds to ask Lauren if she's seeing anyone. And child, she's still evading the question. Lauren, just say no. Just say no. I'm not seeing anybody, honey, right now. Okay. It's not the end of the world. That whole evading or, like she did on the reunion, nobody even cares that much. Because when you said all that, like being coy, and then Orion comes back and says he's seeing someone and he's very happy. Then you see Lauren's face. Child, why did he say that? So you had another opportunity, Lauren, and you dropped the ball again. Anyway, honey, we go from there, and now we're at Michael, and he's in a tattoo shop, and he decides to get a tattoo on his back, and he gets a crying angel. And this is in commemoration of the sudden death of his father and uncle. And he's talking to his tattoo artist about his experience and about him and Chloe not working out. And he tells him that how it was being at the reunion and seeing her. And child, he's still using all them big words. And so he says that he hasn't officially gotten out there and started dating yet, but he pretty much wanted to, spend some time with himself or whatever. And that he was interested in still kind of being friends with Chloe. And he's also working on being a better person. That seemed to be the whole gist of the theme of the show. Everyone was working on themselves, and I agree that they should, because that's really what they should do. I mean, and y'all, not to make light of the fact that this show, anyone that is on a national TV show that before our eyes is experiencing rejection, that has got to be a hard thing to do. So I really don't want to make light of that, because it does have effects on people's mental health. We've talked about that. And it certainly has, just an overall effect on your self-esteem and all of that. So I'm sure that the experiment, that whole experience was draining of the ladies. Did they take it too far? Yes. Did they hold on longer than they should? Yes. It was clear the men didn't want them. For my own sanity, I would have walked away, and that would have been perfectly okay. Future cast members, not mates, because I'm not on the show. I am married in real life and happy. Wouldn't do it. Used to think it might have been, a good idea had I not met my husband, but God knows after what. Listen, y'all. Anyway, honey, getting back to the show, Chloe also goes out and meets her friend, and she said she was telling her friend how the guys really embraced her from the show, but the girls did not. That, and Chloe came in later. By this time, the girls had really formed a really tight bond. And so, it's kind of like being the new kid in class. But these ladies are, they bonded together over, to me, the lie that they made up in their head about the whole victim mentality. Nobody was holding anyone hostage, guys. But I really feel like they leaned into each other, not just for comfort and support, but to make themselves feel better about the stupid choices they made to stay. Anybody out there, saw the same thing? Anyway, when she was asked about the reunion, she said she was waiting for the dearly departed Jerry Springer to come back because it got that stupid. Chloe, I'm going to have to give it to you. It literally was so low class and so stupid. A bunch of outbursts walking off the set, all of which pretty much were Emily. Emily really needs some help. But basically, she tells them that things have gotten so bad between her and the other women that, in fact, one of them made a burner account and really went for her on social media, calling her out of her name, saying that she was trying to sleep with the other husbands. That's burner account, aka Emily's account, because she's probably the one that's just that immature to do something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna call it with Emily. All right, guys, we're going to flip over to Michael and Austin and Orion. They meet at a cigar lounge that Michael invites them to. And he says he didn't really get the group experience, so he wanted to hang out with the guys. And at this point, Orion, a.k.a. Liar, invites them to a Reiki event, which is a cacao, or which means chocolate, moon, child something. He says that he hopes Brennan and Cameron can come because they were a no-show at the cigar lounge, and that they talk a little bit more about the experiment or about the reunion. And, Austin seems a little outdone that Becca will not talk to him. And Becca basically said it's going to be a good 2 to 3 years before I even want to talk to you. I say good on her. Now that she's finally got the memo that it is not going to work between them, she's putting a space between them that I think is necessary. When you're trying to get past someone, get over someone, maybe friends, and keep it in touch, it's not always the right thing to do. Sometimes you got to rip the Band-Aid off and just say, you know what? You're out of my life. I'm going to concentrate on me, and I'm going to work on forgetting you. And there's nothing wrong with that. And so Michael comments that, one thing about Austin was that he was always trying to make things better. It might have appeared that way. I think that Austin led her on too much, and that was his biggest flaw. You really should have been honest. I'm not into you, and it's the same with Brennan, and he admits that. But I mean, good Lord, his actions told that. I mean, the man did not want to move in with her every chance he got. I mean, he basically told her he didn't like her. I mean, y'all, I feel stupid even saying it because I think it was just that overtly obvious. So, okay. Honey, we're going to skip right on over to Claire and Emily. They go on a sushi date. Emily is praising Claire, as I think Claire is the big sister she never had, child. The thing about them two, I really feel like Claire did some manipulating there on Emily. If y'all recall the scene, because, there was things also thrown out in the reunion about Brennan wanted to sleep with Emily's friend. Brennan wanted to sleep with Claire's friend. Girl, y'all, it was a lot. But there is the scene where Claire comes to deliver the news about the whole infamous double date thing. Now, if y'all go back and you see that, but honey, I know, I feel you like me. If I never see another episode, I'll be just fine. But if you should so be inclined to go back and watch that episode, you would see that Claire takes a lot of delight in delivering that message to her. It seemed to me that because she knew, Claire, that her marriage was not going to work. She wasn't into Cameron anyway. But, she wanted to be in company with the other ladies. At that time, it took a while before it was really clear that Becca and Austin weren't going to work. So, that's my theory. She said that Emily said to Claire that night that she was the only one that saw Brennan for who he was. Meaning she was the only one that would bash him the way that she did. And that was on board with the fact that, to make it look like it was his fault when Emily had her part in it, y'all. Again, I stand by the fact that none of these women were held hostage. And the fact that they would agree to this plan that we're going to make it look good for the cameras, even whether it works or not, we're going to stick it out so that we can get our checks. And let me just say this too. Really and truly, I believe in light of that news, that the producers should not have paid those. They should not have paid them the full amount. That's a breach of contract, y'all. I mean, it really is. They tried to produce themselves, you may as well say. They're going to give us the storyline they wanted us to have. Really? Anyway, she says that she hopes that people don't think, this is Emily speaking, y'all, that people didn't think that she was dwelling on the past, but Brennan just put her through so much. Child, that's what she's doing. It's what she did throughout the entire episode. When other of them would get these epiphanies of, look, it didn't work. Maybe what I was supposed to get out of this experience was meeting you ladies and getting new friendships or learning this about myself. Emily was dead set on the fact that Brennan was the worst thing ever and that he had tormented her and that it had caused her to be the shell of a woman that she is. One thing that I also found interesting, guys, is when they did show Emily getting her therapy, which I think, again, is wonderful. They did mention that her relationship with Brennan was similar or, triggered her with her relationship with her father. And that's something that I did catch. Her father, she mentioned many times, was the one that really pushed her. She was good at soccer, but her father really pushed her, to the point where even when, she may be, to the point where it was unhealthy, maybe. And I think with that came her delusion of, well, if you want something bad enough, or if you work hard enough for something, you're going to get it. Well, relationships don't work that way. And the fact that she'd never been in a relationship before, still, y'all, the girl was 29 years old. She's grown. And you can tell whether someone's into you or not, right? So again, I'm not buying that we should put this all on Brennan. Emily sincerely played a part in it as well. But y'all, basically, Claire asked Emily the same question she asked Lauren. Was she ready to get out there? Because Emily had made her little snarky remarks about Claire being the one to run off and find the new man, and she's in a relationship and all that good stuff with her little, how Emily makes her little faces. But she asked Emily, hey, are you ready to get back out there? And probably the most intelligent thing Emily said was she admits that she's not ready to date and that she's okay with that. Bravo, Emily. Because don't put another man through that. Until you are really good with yourself, you do not need to be back out there dating. Okay? Please, spare us. Spare him. So then we go back over to Chloe and Michael. They are on a FaceTime. And she is getting ready to do another volunteer event at the Broken Shovel Sanctuary. The sanctuary where they went with all those disabled animals, where she got the bright idea that she should have all these acres of land so she too could have a sanctuary with disabled animals and about a gazillion troubled adolescents. Remember? Teenagers? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So she invites Michael and the rest of the guys to come and volunteer out there again. And he happily accepts and says that he's going to rally up the guys and they're going to go out there. And they do. And so Chloe gets her moment where she gets a chance to hang out with the guys. And this time we see Brennan and Cameron show up. And this is the first time we've seen them on the show. Excuse me. So they do some more talking about the ladies. And she expresses to them how they were treating her, how she was iced out, how she mentioned to them about the burner account. Certainly it doesn't come as a shock to any of them. But at any rate, let me go back. I'll go back to them on the sanctuary, because before they actually really get into that scene, Michael meets with the ladies. And so you have to understand that, they all kind of do these different scenes where they're meeting with each other, one or two here. The ladies will not meet with the guys. The only guy that got to meet with them was Michael. And child, he's there. It's Chloe. No. He meets with all the ladies, sans Chloe. I'm sorry. Chloe, of course, was not there. She did not film with any of the ladies. They are not at all at speaking terms, and they do not get along. But he does meet Lauren and Claire, and he gets there and he shows them his new tattoo. And at the same time, the earring that he had, Lauren had said she liked it. So he had said that he left it in Denver, and this was at the reunion, and he brought her the other earring. Child, why did he do that? Because Mr. Lulu thinks that, her and Michael should have been together. And I mean, it was no secret the fans had said, given the situation that Lauren and Orion broke up so early in the process, and Michael never even had his first wedding because he had a runaway bride, that maybe they should have matched Lauren and Michael together. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I too even said the same. So, honey, they leaned it, or she leaned into it, so did he. Michael was doing his little flirting thing with Lauren, and Lauren was flirting back. Claire even made the comment that Lauren was one of the most flirtatious people she ever met, but Michael was certainly matching her energy. Okay. So Michael said that, the internet has willed us together. And then she said that Lauren said even her family had said the same. Like, I don't know why they didn't give you and Michael a chance to kind of, couple up. But then they also acknowledged, like I said, the logic was because early in, it's like they both felt like they got. He didn't want to say it because that would have put Orion in the same category, but basically that they both got robbed in the situation, which they did. And y'all, what I thought was so funny is you see Michael outside, and he pretty much sums up the thing with him and Lauren, and his words were, he said that the phrase that would sum them up was that it encapsulates that it is the phrase game, recognize, game. Child, okay. Becca then goes out with her friend Lindsay, which is one of her best friends. This had been her support throughout, and they basically get together to talk about how she hoped that Becca learned from this experience that that whenever she's put in a situation where she has to, well, she admitted that because she was put in a situation where she had to question herself a lot, that she was not being the best version of herself. And we saw that. I mean, she basically let Austin just play in her face as well. Um, Her friend said it was frustrating for her to watch. It was frustrating for the fans to watch. And, that she said that she felt like there were things that she could have done that maybe would have made things work. I don't. Her friend basically said, no, ma'am. You have to realize that it just was the fact that y'all just weren't each other's person. And she says that she's looking for a person that is the next person that she finds that's emotionally more mature. And I agree with that because Austin was not. Austin was someone that did not want to talk about feelings, that seemed to be very one dimensional. She needs someone that is emotionally mature. I agree with Becca there. And she says she now knows in relationships how to show up different. What I did, if I like anything about the episode last night, was the self reflection when it seemed genuine. For the likes of Orion and Brennan, and it didn't seem, and God knows Michael, honey, child, he's full of rhetoric and words. So we go on over. This is when Chloe and the guys get together over at the sanctuary, and that's when they kind of talk to her, and she's telling about how the girls treated her, and of course, they weren't at all surprised. And Cameron said that it was actually the women, in fact, that were the ones that were so much worried about the optics of it all. There's that word again, guys. And honestly, he said that it was them, and Chloe concurred because she said it again, that it was the women that, in fact, were worried about how the world was going to see them all get rejected by their husbands. It's a tough pill to swallow. And at the reunion, they certainly had a united front in putting a spin on the fact that they were duped by the guys. We're not buying it, ladies. Throw the whole season away, y'all. I mean, I really don't have a whole lot more to say other than I'm going to tell you that, Austin talked about how he had gotten bullied on the internet. They said he liked Ted Bundy with no sex appeal. I said, whoa. And that, a lot of people had expressed that, he had some issues with sex, sexuality, question was he a virgin or not. None of those things he said were true. Um, and I can understand that watching the show, and they've got to realize, this show went on forever, that they certainly did probably get a lot of backlash. Again, as a fan, well, former fan. I'm on the fence on whether I'll even watch next season. You guys can put it in the comments and let me know. Are y'all going to watch Chicago season? They already said they're at work at doing some things differently, but y'all, we cannot have another season like that. So let's just wrap this up, okay? Basically, they all get together, this, that, and the third, and they talk about what they've learned. The ladies get together and decide to donate their dresses to a good cause. People that are getting married that have terminal illnesses, and they do the whole experience, and they donate their dresses. I thought that was great. And there was a last reflection upon all of them where they've learned. Let me just say this, y'all. I really and truly hope Lifetime gets it together. We've talked about a season from a lawsuit. It is taxing on individuals' mental health. It's gotten to the point now that it's been out so long that now you have people coming on trying to manipulate the narrative. I don't know. Like I said, Chicago's already in the mix. They've already got it casted and it's going. We saw the previews. Y'all, let me know in the comments. Are you going to watch? Because I'm not sure yet. I still feel like that was a complete waste of my life. Last night was a wasted 2 hours, and I have wasted week after week, 2 hours at a time of my time. And sometimes even another 30 minutes or so for the after show. Like I said, honey, throw the whole season away. It was not, to me, it was a mockery of what the show is about. Even the experts, when they brought them out, you could see, they appeared to be shocked. I will say Dr. P is a real one. I like her. I really do. She's a wonderful addition to the show and to the experts. Chicago's her hometown, honey. Maybe she'll have more pull on this one. Let's just see, honey. We'll have to wait and see. But, y'all, that's what I got. I really not going to spend much more time. I'm not going to waste more of you guys' time. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, honey, that was Married at First Sight Denver. We're wrapping it up. I never have to talk about them again. You guys don't have to sit here and listen about them again. No more. No more. It's a wrap, guys. But you know what? I do want to say thanks again for tuning in and remind you guys that this weekend on Saturday, as a matter of fact, me and Bria will be at Pullman Yards in Atlanta for the iHeart Black Effects Podcast Festival. That's right. We'll be there. And we are so excited to network and to learn. If you happen to be out and, you see us, y'all, please, feedback, photo ops, whatever, come say hey. So we'll be excited. We'll be in the place Saturday. And, there are still tickets available. So if you have nothing else to do and you're in Atlanta, come on out. Come on out. But again, guys, hope you have a great night. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Sherry with the Legend Ashley Podcast. And we will be in Atlanta Saturday. We'll probably, give you some highlights of the event. Whoever, there's going to be some folks out there that you guys may know. Charlamagne the God is going to be there. Just Hilarious, Pretty V, Big Dot, some of the top podcasts on the iHeart Black Effects network. So more to follow, guys. So stay tuned. And thanks again, guys. Good night.